Hi, I am Kamal. I am recording this after the end of what feels like a month packed into a week. If you are new here, as a brief introduction, I am building YourFam as a solo founder and a solo builder. YourFam is a wellness and productivity app, and I am planning to launch it on January 1, 2026. Yes, I have moved the launch date by 3 months from October of this year to January 1, 2026. I will put a separate video explaining why I have to do that. However, the soft launch and tests with limited set of users will start from October itself. This week is all about several parallel tracks. Deep JavaScript coding while also making certain critical product level decisions. My brain as of now feels like a browser with some 100 tabs open, and yet we are still executing. It is like trying to learn how to fly a plane while simultaneously designing the airport it will land at. So, I spent roughly 40 hours this week on deep JavaScript learning. In other words, I was buried in JavaScript, not just learning it, but also building certain practice projects. More particularly, a modal window and a dice game. The model was fairly straightforward. Open, close, escape key to dismiss, the typical dance of event listeners and class manipulations in JavaScript. But the dice game, that's where things got a little difficult and also interesting. I had to track active players, manage scores, implement win conditions, essentially creating a full state management system without libraries. For me, it was like building a car engine when you have just started to learn what a spanner or a wrench is. The most painful moment came when I started copying the same DOM elements. This is a little technical in JavaScript. The same DOM elements over and over again. My code looked like a legal document prepared by someone who is paid by the word. The more, the merrier. Then I discovered arrays, and suddenly, revolution. I could store all my player elements and cycle through them. Turns out that writing code is like doing dishes. If you leave it messy, future you will absolutely hate the past you for it. And much like dishes, no one notices when you do it right, but everyone smells it when you don't. The most interesting decision this week was about how to take user inputs for the YourFam app. I will explain it in more detail. I have been playing detective, testing various wellness apps ranging from 1500 rupees per annum to a mind-boggling amount of 30,000 rupees per annum. And honestly, I am underwhelmed. Most of these apps, and unfortunately, even the premium ones, turn users into glorified data entry clerks. You are basically paying the app, and in return, you are doing unpaid administrative work for the app. It doesn't make sense at all. Tracking your meals becomes a part-time job, and logging workouts feels like filing taxes. And believe me, it is very productive to do 30 minutes of an actual deadlift sets in the gym rather than wasting 30 minutes to input into your app as to what workout have you done. That role of data entry operator just kills the fun of your entire workout session. Some apps try to be clever with photo uploads or gallery scanning, but that tracking is still mediocre at best. It's like they are saying, hey, we will let you take pretty pictures of your food, but you will still need to explain what a rice bowl is for the 47th time. I am exploring much better alternatives. Sophisticated voice input with natural language processing, because talking to your phone is less weird than it was in 2010. Intelligent image recognition that actually knows the difference between a dosa and a roti. And contextual text input that feels natural. 2 rotis with dal or 4 idlis with chutney. That's it. Rather than filling out forms like you are applying for a home loan. The good news, as I have now officially moved the YourFam launch date to January 1 of 2026. It gives me breathing room to solve this user experience puzzle properly instead of rushing out another app that makes you hate yourself for forgetting to log your afternoon apple. Now, let us talk about YourFam website, yourfam.co. Funnily, it went through more iterations than me figuring out what my coffee should be at a new cafe. I spent several days refactoring the entire site. First, I split into multiple pages. Then I realized it was a mistake and then reverted back to a single HTML page. It is like when you are packing for a trip and you keep taking things out and putting them back in your suitcase. The website, funnily, was having an identity crisis. And unfortunately, I was its only confused therapist. The good news is now I understand the 3 big boys of frontend, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript at a much deeper level. design tokens, scripts, grid systems, typography hierarchies, so on. The list goes. My style sheet is so clean that you can eat off it, which is more than I can say for my actual desk right now. My code may be organized, but my workspace or my table still looks like a paper factory which is just hit by a tornado. I have also unintendedly had a little fun dance on DNS with Netlify. The domain was stuck in digital purgatory for a couple of days because it was managed by another team, and that team also being me through a different email ID. I filed a support ticket with Netlify. Corporate bureaucracy remains bureaucracy. Even when both sides of the email chain are technically the same person. I felt like writing a strongly worded letter to myself and then waiting anxiously for a reply. Good news though, the Netlify issue is resolved. The new version 2 of YourFam.co is now live, and I request you all to have a look at it. The content, however, is currently very basic and mostly informational. I had an epiphany about coding as a founder, which I want to share with you all. In this AI-powered era, we are witnessing a fundamental shift in how products get built. I am not trying to become the next programming rockstar with groupies waiting outside my GitHub repository. I am building a product that solves real problems for real people. Let's be clear. The days of founders needing to code everything from scratch are over. That outdated mindset is like insisting you need to forge your own hammer before building a house. It is unnecessarily limiting and frankly misses the whole point of what we are here to do as founders. With AI as my coding co-pilot, I can focus my energy and attention on what truly matters, which is the vision, product strategy, and user experience while still maintaining technical ownership. I prompt, test, understand, modify, and ship. That is the intelligent founder's path in 2025, and I personally feel it liberating than limiting. What genuinely matters is understanding the architecture and logic of what I am creating. Having enough technical literacy to question properly what I want and know how to validate the solutions. This is not about mindlessly copying and pasting code like I am assembling digital IKEA furniture without instructions. It is about what I call having founder grade technical literacy. The perfect balance between technical understanding and entrepreneurial efficiency. And that is a wrap on my week. JavaScript projects completed. Key product decisions on user inputs taken. Website redesigned and deployed. My understanding of being a technical founder crystal clear. Well, clearer than my coffee after 3 sleepless nights. The biggest lesson I keep coming back to is that progress isn't measured by speed. It's about those daily deliberate reps. Compare it to going to gym. See you next week, hopefully with fewer gray hair. Thank you.